So just to give you a sense of our ethos for the venue in terms of what we try to develop here. So I've been coming to France for 20 years and have done untold trips, some good, some superb, but some also not so great. So I've tried to put my heart and soul into how we've developed this venue for your enjoyment. So I wanted to show you some of the things that we've done. So you can see where we're standing at the moment is the entrance into the lake. There's a lot of hard graft that's gone into this. There's a 400-ton gravel path that has gone all the way around the lake now, covered in wood chip, so that you can fish in pleasure and comfort. So even in the harshest of weather here at Passais, we don't do muddy boots here, so you don't get messy. It's very comfortable for you to set up. That makes our season quite flexible, though, you know, we have clients that come in February, March, or even November. No issues whatsoever, because you're on this, which is super comfortable. You can also see behind that we've put a lovely gazebo in, perfect in the summer. There's a barbecue there if you want to just sit, kick back and relax. We have full power that runs to the gazebo, so you can charge your phones, your bait boat batteries, etc. And you start to get a sense of how we've developed the lake. There are some notice boards up with our rules and fish care policies. We have dedicated fish care areas for the weighing and photography of fish. But as we walk around and introduce some of the swims, you'll see the quality that we've put into Passais. And as I said, you know, that's born out of 20 years of experience of coming to France and making sure that we offer you the very best that we can make. So, welcome to the boathouse swim. Now, not everyone who comes to France for a fishing holiday wants a big social area. And if you're that kind of fisherman who likes to just separate from the group and have your own little piece of water and nice peace and quiet, this is definitely the swim for you. So this is at the top of the lake, probably in one of the deeper areas, although saying that, it's got some very nice shallow areas. It's a one-man swim. It's built so that you're bivvying up here, and then you have a nice comfortable slope down to your fishing area, which really is very, very interesting and very nice if you like to be quiet, stealthy, and really think about tricking your fish. So this swim has got to your left some deeper areas, because it's towards the area of the monk where we drain the lake, so it has some of the deepest water in the lake. Having said that, we actually built 2 seasons ago a nice tiered area of gravel and stone, also with the mud and the silt. So you've got some very interesting depths to play about with. To the right of the swim and immediately behind me is a large sandy bay. It's probably maximum 3 or 4 foot, going up to 1.5 foot in places. Fish love to get in here because, as you can probably tell, the sun is coming round like this, so it gets an awful lot of sun. So a lovely area if you like just flicking a bait out, some nice accurate baiting and fishing really stealthy. So if you've had enough of long walks and humping your gear half a mile when you come to France, this is the swim for you. This is Old Man Corner. It's the first swim you come to as you come into the main entrance of the lake. It's adjacent to our gazebo, so it's probably the most comfortable swim on the lake in terms of sheer effort to get yourself set up. Again, it's pointing towards probably a deeper end of the lake, but some very nice interesting features, some lovely margins, tree line margins, a lot of open water in front, and also some of those layered and tiered areas along the dam wall that I mentioned when I was in the boathouse swim. So plenty of space, like every swim here at Passais, fully wood chipped, very comfortable. We have a dedicated weigh station as well, adjacent to the swim for when you do catch the carp. But you know, a very nice spot. Potentially I would start in this swim with maybe 2 rods and then build to 3. If you start with 3 in here, you may just compromise your space and your fishing effectiveness. So maybe 2 rods to kick off, and particularly along the far edge, all along there. We've just walked along there, seen lots of fish bubbling and some tail patterns. So yeah, a lovely swim where you can bait very easily. Nice canopy of the trees, very quiet. All you hear is the birds here. It's perfect. So we also recognise that you know, coming to France for your fishing holiday can be quite a social occasion. So this is what we call the Friendlies swim. This is Friendlies 1, and it's a series of 3 swims that are very close together, very social, quite a large area for you actually to fish collectively together. You know, sit down, have a beer, have a chat, and be with the people you've come fishing with. So as I said, this is Friendlies 1, a lovely aspect looking out into the lake. It's adjacent to Old Man's Corner, so we'll show you the map of the lake so you get a better sense of it. But here you start to see some of the far margin comes into play. So you've got a nice silver birch across from us that can produce a lot of fish, but equally you have some very deep margins along here. So if you're particularly quiet and at night, you know, some of these areas are definitely worth a look, an investigation, because we see lots of fish bubbling and moving here. You know, a lot of space, enough water to share with friends if they're in the Friendlies 2 and 3. Actually, you're starting to be quite adjacent here now to our sun terrace, which is behind us. So it's just a short hop over the bridge. So if you want to wind the rods in and relax, you can go and sit up there, put the barbie on, have a beer, and relax, but still watch your water and keep an eye on things. So a really nice swim. This is Friendlies 1. So we're now in the main Friendlies area, Friendlies 2 and Friendlies 3. This is the biggest swim on the lake, so it tends to be quite a popular area, particularly for 2 or 3 fishermen, because remember you have Friendlies 1 just adjacent to it. So 2 big fishing areas either side of me, and probably one of the largest aspects of the lake here, so you can control quite a lot of water here, particularly if no one is fishing to the right up in Old Man. So you've got all the deep dam area, but you start to really get the far margin come into play. There's some margins to the left. It tends to be you know, a very popular area just because the number of choices that you've got. A nice canopy of trees, a lovely rustic fence at the back, so you've got plenty of areas for your bivvies, and we're right next to the bridge and the sun terrace. Now, we don't encourage you know, sitting up there having a beer and having your rods in, I'm afraid. We want to try and keep the 2 areas separate. But if you want to have a wind in and a relax, then you're simply, you know, 20 footsteps away from, you know, our lovely vista in the sun up there. So that's the Friendlies area. As I said, this is the most social area of the lake, and plenty of room for those big bivvies. Okay, so we've now reached the Hideway swim. So we have 2 swims that we called Hideway, Hideway 1, Hideway 2. They're called that for the very reason that, you know, with the canopy of the trees and the way that the lake is set out, is that once you're set up in here, no one else can really see you. So the guys down at Friendlies, and then the guys in Poplars, which we'll show you in a minute, you know, you're tucked away. You're pretty invisible. So it's my personal favourite, actually, these swims. They're probably not going to be the most productive swims in a week, if I'm honest, but they do tend to throw up the bigger fish, because, you know, a lot of anglers who come to Passais, they will fish the far mark and the far line, and of course the fish are very used to that. So if you're willing to do something a bit different, you have some lovely margins here and areas sort of 30, 40 feet out that can really throw up the bigger fish that are just too wise to hang at the back and eat your bait. So this is Hideways 1. It's a 1-man swim. It's got its own way station, nicely put away. Particularly in the height of summer, you know, if it's 30 degrees and you want to be out of the sun, this is a perfect swim to be in. It's got lovely natural canopy and shade, so you can really be quite comfortable here all day while you know, others are boiling away in some of the other swims here. Okay, so welcome to Hideways 2. Slightly bigger area this swim, but really halfway in the lake really. You can see the aspect, lots of open water, lots of far margin to hit, lots of interesting margins along the left. You've got the splash aerator out in the middle that we run at certain times during the summer to give more oxygen, so that can be a feature for the fish as well. You know, a whole host of different places to fish in this swim. Again, nice canopy of the trees, so quite protected from the summer sun and very tucked away. So when you're in here, you can't really see any of the other swims. Feels like you're fishing a lake on your own. So, you know, again, another favourite of mine, this swim, just because of the number of options you've got and the ability to sit here to scan the water and see an awful lot of what's going on across the lake. Okay, so welcome to the Poplars swims. I say swims because it can be a two-man swim. So you see we've got some gear in situ at the moment. Got my son Tom and Scott here. So they've taken a side each, so you can see lots of space. There's a couple of bivvies up, so again, it can be quite a social swim if you want two anglers here. Now the poplars area, you're starting to really target the shallower end of the lake. So we have a bit of water coming in at this end. Average depth can be 3.5 foot, going down to 1.5 foot in some places. So particularly early season, it warms up fast. The fish like to be here. Lots of different open water options, but equally you have the far margin as well from here. Bit of a boat ride across, or a bait boat, but it's available to you if no one's fishing in Millview. But you know, a nice swim, lots of open area, lots of casting space. Yeah, and just generally a very productive swim. The guys fished here last night. They had 5 fish in darkness. I've lost one this morning, so you know, we're in early May. It can be a very productive swim at this time of year. Right, so welcome to the Millview swim. Again, one of my favourites on the lake. I've got so many. This is the far end of the lake, so the shallower end of the water, looking back towards the mill house and the cottage. It gets full sun in the morning as it comes up over opposite, so it's a beautiful place to wake up to. Huge amount of water in front of you. You've got all of the marginal area that's just coming into leaf now, so you get an awful lot of fish patrolling under there. But equally, you know, get yourself sat here in your low chair and you have such a great view of where the bubbles are coming up. So it tends to be a little bit more silty down this end, so the fish are a little bit more obvious to locate. But you know, a big swim, loads of room for bivvies. Can be quite a social swim because we've got the other side of Millview, which I'll show you in a second. You know, our weigh station, as you've seen in every swim, with a light, with antiseptic to treat the fish. So you know, a good, well thought out area that, you know, is really starting to mature now and really be quite special. Okay, so this is the other part of Millview. So again, you know, you can fish quite socially together or just have the option of both areas. Probably has a slightly different aspect, and it's starting to look back towards the poplar swim. So I don't think you'd really want someone to be in that swim if you were fishing here. It gives you all that option. To your right you have a nice little island and some very deeper trenches, 4-foot trenches that we dug in about a year ago. Plus some shallower water options. There's some clay holes where the fish have fed strongly in the past. But you know, again, a nice area, a lot of water. You know, very easy to sit here and just watch for showing fish. But you know, this is the Millview swim, and you know, beautiful area to spend a few days. Okay, well it's important we also talk about the stock of fish that we have here at Passais. And I would say that that's still work in progress really. We've owned the lake since 2009. The first opportunity we had to assess the stock was really the winter of 2010. We're fortunate to be able to reduce the water level here and do a netting, which we did in that winter. So we started to assess the stock then, to start to thin out, to start to introduce new stock. In 2011 we also reduced the water and did another netting, and we assessed that our stock was probably in the region of about 250 fish. We took about 50 fish out and they're rehomed currently, waiting for reintroduction in about a year's time. But I would say right now we probably have in the region of between 200 and 250 carp here in Passais. It's probably still a bit too many for the body of water, you know, to get the biomass right and to get the bigger fish, you know, feeding and growing. We hope to still make some slight tweaks. We're in the process of developing a stock pond at the moment, and we'll have a policy of rehoming anything below 20 pound once that's complete, so we can keep them on site, grow them on, and then just focus on growing our bigger fish. It's difficult to say how many bigger fish we have at the moment, just because I think, as I mentioned, it's still a work in progress, but we certainly stocked 11 30s this winter just gone, so that's about 4 months ago, 1 41-pound fish. We introduced a 59-pound grass carp which is swimming around somewhere, I would suggest that we probably have in the region of 30 to 40 30-pound fish. There are probably 2 or 3 40-pound fish. We have some large sturgeon, so there is one that's about 34 pounds. We also have a stock of catfish. Biggest is about 80 pounds at the moment, but there are several that are about the 35, 40 pound mark. And then probably 7 or 8 other grass carp, several that are about mid-30s and a couple of smaller ones about 17 pounds. So we have a good selection of fish. I wouldn't say that we are a big fish water. We get a lot of regular customers that like the exclusivity of the venue and the cottage and are happy just to catch our bigger 30 and low 40-pound fish. But that's changing. It's work in progress. You can't change it overnight. You have to deal with the biomass, treat the water, get everything working correctly. But I'm confident we're doing those things, and we will see our stock continue to thrive and grow over the next 2 to 3 years. Perhaps the most important thing about our stock is that we're very transparent about talking about it. We'll tell you when fish die, because fish do, that's life. Equally, we'll show you when fish are caught. And I would encourage you to look at our Facebook page. Rather than try to update a website every day, we have a very vibrant Facebook page where every day we'll talk about our customers' catches in the season. We'll show you pictures of the fish coming out, and you'll get a good sense of the sizes and the average stamp of fish here at Passais. But if you were coming for a week, I would expect that a good catch would be in the region of 40 to 50 fish between your group. With a good stock of 30s and maybe even a low 40 in that catch. So that gives you a good sense of what to expect if you come to Moulin de Passais. Okay, so I think it's important that we just spend a couple of minutes talking about rig safety, because we have some very particular policies here at Moulin de Passais, and probably the most important one is when it comes to lead clips. There is a particular way that we ask you to fish a lead clip here, which I believe is probably the very safest way that you can fish a lead clip. I know there's a lot of focus on dumping the lead these days and having clips that dump the lead. Quite frankly, at our lake, we don't have snags, we don't have weed. Keep your money in your pocket, because I don't need you to dump the lead. What I'm more worried about is making sure that the fish is left with as little as possible attached to it, should a line break occur. So of course, with the dumping the lead system, the fish is likely to continue to trail the hook link, the lead clip, the tail rubber and the tubing. No, I didn't say lead core, because we don't allow lead core here. But I'm looking to minimise that as much as possible. So I want to introduce you to the way that we fish a lead clip here. We sell them on site. You can get them readily available in the UK. They're a particular manufacturer which I'll mention in a second, but let's start here. I've got one of Scott's rigs actually, who fished last night. There you go, pretty standard setup. You've got your tubing, your tail rubber attached to your lead clip, your lead, quick link here, and then your hook link. Perhaps the most subtle thing that you may not pick up straight away, but different, is this little rig ring here that's sitting on the end of the safety clip, and that's probably the most important factor of this rig, and I'm going to try and explain it to you. So if we just break down the components of the rig here, so we have the tubing and the tail rubber. I'm going to take the lead off for a minute, the lead clip itself, and then tied into the quick link. If I pull the quick link out, you will see that it's actually on a loop. Hopefully you can pick that up on the camera. So it isn't just tied directly to the quick link, it's actually looped through. There is no knot attached here. How we achieve that is actually when threading the line through the safety clip, you come through the quick link, back into the safety clip, and then out through this rather large hole on the side. Okay, and then when you take the line through, you're then tying it to a rig ring. So hopefully you can see that, but there's the rig ring there. Okay, and once you've tied a good secure knot, you are then simply securing the rig ring onto the clip. Okay, so your point of knot for the whole rig is actually on the ring, not on the safety clip. So let's tighten all that back in. So the safety clip is sitting tightly in the lead clip. The rig ring is sat on the trunk of the lead clip. Everything's in place. We'll put the tail rubber back on. Let's just imagine the lead's on there. Everything is in place. Now, the beauty of this system is, let's assume there is a break up here. Scott's cast too hard, or there's a snag, or whatever it is, but the line has parted. This is where the system really works, because as the fish picks up the bait or is already hooked, it will pull. The lead clip has cut, the quick link has come out. It's pulling, sorry, I've got the tubing there, but it's pulling line out, and that will pull the line until the break comes through. And so this line will simply fall away, and all the fish is left with is the rig. That's it. No lead clip, no lead, no tail rubber, no tubing. That's all been dumped on the lake. All it's left with is that. Just towing that around until it manages to shed it, rather than towing all of that, where you can potentially get tangles and hookups. So we publish the system in our handbook, so if you come to Passais we have a good written explanation of how to tie it. We stock it here. This is a Gardner multi-clip. It's specifically built with this very large bore, so you can bring the line back out through and secure it with this ring. It's by far the safest way to fish a lead clip. You know with confidence that all the fish is going to take is just the swivel. Everything else gets dumped. And that's the system that we run at Passais, and we expect you to use if you choose to use a lead clip here. So I hope that's helpful. I hope that's food for thought. And the best way to understand it is to get yourself some of the components and play about with it. And I promise you, once you've played about with it, you won't go back. It's the safest way to fish a lead clip.